how's it going today? So it's Nikki here, and we are Tuesday. Hopefully you're having a good day wherever you're watching from. It is 11:41 right now. I'm actually probably going to be heading to bed soon, which is kind of awesome. I still have some chips left, so I'm going to munch out on some chips, listen to some music, or watch some Game of Thrones. Haven't fully decided yet. And then have some toast and go to bed. Well, what are we doing today, though? Well, I already have today's video all done, which is really weird, kind of. Actually, because like I'm starting it now, but I filmed the main portion earlier. But anyways, yeah, there was a comment on YouTube. Actually, I'm gonna go find the comment. That's what I'm gonna go do. So there was a comment on YouTube from Aubrey Paul Price, and they asked if I can change my thumbnail up. So that is what we're doing today. It is kind of frustrating though, because the first one that I made, I spent probably about 2 hours making, but I didn't hit record on OBS, so it didn't record at all. What had happened was I hit record the first time, and then I was like, wait, no, I'm just gonna go mess around with it and get a feel for it, and then I'll record, because I was just gonna mess around. And then as I was messing around, I just started getting into it and going, and I was like, oh shit. So when I finished, I remembered hitting record, but I had forgot that I stopped recording so I could mess around and never started recording again, so I had to go through and record another one. But this one only took like 30 minutes to make, so that was beautiful. Probably because I didn't have to mess around with everything, so that's a thing. Now, the two thumbnail backgrounds didn't turn out exactly the same, but I do kind of like the second one better than the first one anyways, so I think I'm gonna stick with that one. And with that all being said, well, I guess I'll let the clips roll and you can see how I made my thumbnail. Okay, so we're gonna be going over how I made this background for my thumbnail right here. It started off pretty basic actually, and I just kind of was messing around with things, and then from there it escalated. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is get the background template for the background, and I just did a rainbow for that. Right here I'm just kind of setting everything up so that it's all organized how I'd like it to be, and then I'm gonna start going in and making the rainbow. So I just took a new plane and put a full color of each of the colors of the rainbow, and then I separated them throughout the screen so that it was kind of like evenly balanced, and you can see that right here. So there were just a little bit of tweaks that I wanted to do before finishing up, and then once it was all finished and done up how I liked it, I just took it to the main editor panel and I dropped that composite shot in, and I also trimmed off a bunch of time there because it is a 30-second clip and I really only needed a couple frames. And if I had it for 30 seconds, it would take way too long to export versus how long it takes with a couple frames. And once it's all done exporting, I'm gonna go over and open up a new composite shot and then drop that image down there and make that my background. And then I'm gonna set up everything how I want it again. And then for every effect that I wanna add on, I'm gonna create a new grade. So I'm not putting the effect on the background image itself. I'm putting the effect on a grade so that if I wanna toggle them on or off, I can do that. And if I want to take one off, I can, but if I want to leave a bunch on, I can, and it doesn't affect the background image. And I mean, I could do it differently too, but this way is just more organized for me. So the first thing I did there is make some sort of light source, and when I was messing around with that earlier, I was originally going with the lightsaber, and I did the 2-point instead of the 4-point, but I wasn't liking how it worked out. So I went and I changed it up to the 4-point, and I figured that kind of looked like a little bit of an abstract N, and I'd keep it. And then I just threw on some grain just to give it some texture and more defined, like you're looking at something that's actually there. And I was just quickly referencing to see what else I've done on the other one. So going in here, I don't remember exactly what effect I added next off the top of my head, but we shall see in a sec. So I'm naming the grades, or I'm naming the yeah, the grades. I'm naming the grades there just because it's going to be easier to keep them more organized and stay straight to my head. And then I'm adding a cartoon effect just to make everything a little bit more poppy, but I still want to keep the grainy texture feel. And then I also like having that little bit of split in between the colors of the rainbow. After that, I'm going to be adding some lightning, which I don't really need, but the lightning was just like a super cool effect that I was like, okay, this is definitely going on. And I know it's not going to be moving anywheres in the actual picture because it's a picture and not a video, but like, we're going to go with it. And then for just to like add some more effects, I just duplicated it and had it going from the top of one corner down. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of regretting because I should have also took the lightning from the other corner and brought it down along the other side so it had some more symmetry going on. But that's a task for another day, maybe. I mean, realistically, you wouldn't notice the lightning and how it's organized when we're all done with it, so that's a thing. But I still think it would be pretty cool. So I'm just duplicating it there a couple times just so that it's more vibrant and more intense so that you can see it more. And then I'm going to add the next plane, which is the spiral, and I'm going to pull that so that the radius is over the whole picture, and I'm going to play around with that until I'm happy. Next, I'm adding some waves just to make it a little bit more trippy, because, like, honestly, that's pretty epic. I think, at least. I think it's pretty amazing. I'm not quite sure if I like the lightsaber 4-point there or not, so I do believe I turned it off and then turned it on and played around with it. But I'm guessing that was also in the original one, because here we go exporting it. And just like that, the background image is done. So that is how I created the background image for a new thumbnail. All I had to do then was upload it to my iCloud so I could access it from my phone, and then hop on over into my phone to finish up the editing for the thumbnail. So once on my phone, it's pretty easy and straightforward. I'm just gonna find the clips of the video for that day that I was filming. I go through it looking for a decent-ish face. I don't always have the best faces during my video, but that's okay. And try to find a thumbnail picture from that. Once I find the spot, I just kind of screenshot it and save it to my camera roll. Then I'm going to move over into Photoshop Mix, I do believe is the app, to create the thumbnail itself. And I'm going to put the background up. I'm going to put my picture up. So after I got everything in position how I wanted, I'm going to drop the thumbnail background behind the picture, and I'm going to go to the cropping tool, and I'm going to start cutting out everything that's around my head. And I like to leave the chair in the background too, because it just kind of adds to it, I feel. Then once I've gotten a rough shape of subtraction, I go through and add through, fine tipping it, making sure everything's looking good. And I realize I said fine tipping, I think I meant fine tuning. And then I feather it and then I position it where I want. And from there, it's just a matter of adding the text, making sure everything aligns properly, and saving it, and then it's good to upload. So it actually all turned out better than I thought. And I friggin' had a blast. Because, like, especially messing around with electricity, like zappy zap zap. I should probably actually, you know what? We're gonna put some electricity zapping across the screen here just for the fun of it. So, like, electricity. And yeah. I know I said I was frustrated because, like, I worked for 2 hours on the first one and then it didn't record. But I had a blast working for those 2 hours. Like, I didn't even realize it was 2 hours. It was like 9 o'clock when I sat down, and then it was like 11, and I'm like, where did the time go? That was a blast. Maybe I'll make a new thumbnail every month. You never know. That could be a thing. Anyways, I guess I'm going to be ending it here, so if you've enjoyed, be sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button down below, and why not comment something to make it a triple threat? Who doesn't like a triple threat? My triple threat for the day is, if anyone was paying attention when I was editing the lightning on, obviously the second one, I didn't have the first one recorded. When I was editing the lightning, I had to duplicate it 3 times in order for it to be vibrant enough to pop out. So, that is my triple threat. And with that, I'm going to be ending it here, and I'll see you whenever I upload tomorrow's video.